guys, welcome back to our Tech. Hope you're all doing fine. So, I've had the Galaxy S21 Plus for about a month now, and here are my thoughts about it. As soon as you have a look at the box, you can tell that Samsung followed suit with what Apple did. So, there's no charger in the box, you only get your paperwork, your phone, and your USB C to C data cable. Out of the box, immediately you notice probably the biggest changes in the S series this year is the design. Samsung has gone with this new kind of elegant and smooth flowing kind of camera bump that kind of melts into the side rails of the phone. It's really nice. They went from looking something like this to looking something like this. Personally, I like it after a month of usage and all. It's really good. It looks really nice in the hand and feels really good. So now the camera bump, it has to be there because if they didn't want the camera bump, Samsung had to compromise either on the camera hardware or they had to make the whole phone thicker, which is not ideal in both cases. So when you have a camera bump, you better embrace it, and this is a great way to do it. So the camera bump is great. Now Galaxy S21 comes with a plastic bag, and the S21 Plus and the S21 Ultra come with a glass bag. So this is the glass back version and has this really good and really satisfying matte finish to it, it feels really great in the hand and it's great at rejecting fingerprints. So far I've not seen any fingerprints accumulate on it, and it's a bit of less maintenance, so the matte finish also really good. In the design department, Samsung has aced it this year, probably one of the best camera bumps out there, and personally I really like the matte finish and also probably the best matte finishes out there. As I said, it's not possible to remove the camera bump since Samsung needs the camera hardware to get the good photos that it takes. So let's talk about the camera hardware. The S21 and the S21 Plus both come with a 12 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 64 megapixel 3 times optical zoom sensor. If you're thinking you're going to have to compromise on the camera, then there's no compromise happening between the S21 and the S21 Plus. They have the same camera systems and the same processing. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus main camera and all three cameras are really good. They have brilliant color accuracy. It's always great about Samsung phones. They process the colors accurately and more similar to what we see through the eye. Sometimes it's a bit oversaturated where the oranges or the yellows and the reds are higher and they mask out all the other colors, but that's very rare, and usually in broad daylight they get brilliant pictures with great colors. Even in the night mode, since this is a big sensor, 12 megapixels doesn't sound like a lot, but the processing, and because it's a big sensor, it takes in a lot of light, and because of a lot of light, all three sensors are capable of bringing out brilliant night mode shots, even though you can zoom only up to 10 times in night mode. Night mode shots from this phone come out great. They take in a lot of details. Obviously, they won't be as sharp and as color accurate as the morning shots because in the morning there's a lot more light. But in the night mode, even in pitch darkness where there's even a small amount of light, this phone can brighten up that light and bring out great night mode shots. Now there are better night mode shots than this, and this is not the best camera system out there, but it is among the best and it can take great photos at any time and at any situation. You can also record great videos with it. It can do 8K at 24 frames per second or 4K at 60 and 60 at anything below 8K. Only 8K can do 24, which is not exactly ideal because 24 frames per second is not very fast and might lead to jittery or not very smooth feeling videos. So what I use is 4K 60 frames per second or 1080p 60 frames per second, and I capture really good videos. If you want to save some space, you can go for 1080 or 4K is great. It has 256 gigabytes of memory, so 4K it can hold quite some 4K videos. Now, Samsung's camera system usually has a lot of features built into it. Like the camera UI is quite complex and simple at the same time. You can use it for just take it out, point and shoot cameras, or when you just need a quick shot, you take it out, you point at something, you shoot, and it gives you a great result. Or if you want to go into quite some details, you can go into Pro mode, even in Pro Video, where you can adjust everything from ISO to the depth and the focus manually. in the software. So that is great, where some people like to tweak around with the controls in the camera. So this camera allows you to do it. And it's also great for just normal beginning photo shooting. Samsung also introduced some new features like portrait video, where you can take a portrait mode video where the background is blurred and only the face of the person is visible in full clarity. Or you can use director's view, where you can see each lens taking the video, the ultra wide, the optical zoom lens, and the main lens. And those are some extra features that they have added this time and into the new software and into the new phones. So the zoom is good if you want. It can zoom further away. Suppose you're across the street and you need to see something on the other side of the street, you can do it and there's no problem in that. But if you're a zoom person, the S21 Ultra is probably a better option for you. Overall, this camera system is great. All the color accuracy is good and it's consistent across the three cameras. The selfie camera also is a 10 megapixel selfie camera. Again, 10 megapixels might not sound like a lot, but it does the job, and Samsung does quite a lot of processing behind the scenes, so you get pretty good quality pictures. And in the previous model, there was a 20 megapixel sensor just right from Samsung. I tested it out against the S21 Plus, and even though it has a 10 megapixel sensor, it gets out better shots with better color accuracy and better light because of the behind the scenes processing and the big sensor. So overall, the camera system is great. If you're just a person who's looking for a good performing phone, overall you can go for the S21 Plus in the camera department. But if you want the top of the line and best camera system, you can have a look at the S21 Ultra or the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. And Samsung, as I said, there's quite a lot of processing behind the scenes, and so all of this is done by the CPU and the brains behind the screen. So let's talk about the performance of this phone. Has 8 gigs of LPDDR6 fast RAM and 256 gigs of 3.1 UFS 3.1 fast storage. So storage and RAM were top of the line, and 8 plus 256 is good enough for me. If you want more RAM and storage, you can look at the Ultra, which has 12 and 512 GB or 16 and 512 GB respectively. So the performance of this phone, again, if you're living in US and some other parts of the world, you might get the Snapdragon version that has the Snapdragon 888 chip. It's considered to be more efficient and more performance of that chip is better than this, but that's only in peak circumstances where you need absolute best of the CPUs and it's pumping out everything it can. But usually you're not going to be in that kind of situation, because that's only happening when you're gaming like extremely high level graphics, or when you're when you're multitasking too much, or just some programs that demand a lot from your CPU. Otherwise, the Snapdragon 2100 is up to par. It's close enough to the Snapdragon 888 to not feel like a compromise. Also, like, the Snapdragon doesn't heat up as much as the Exynos. This is one place where the Exynos is still lacking. According to some other YouTubers' reviews and benchmarks, you can see that Snapdragon 888 is a bit more efficient and cooler than this Exynos 2100. So Samsung is yet to catch up to Snapdragon, but it's getting closer. And as far as my usage is concerned, I've done quite some multitasking on it, and I've played COD Mobile and Asphalt 9, and they all feel really smooth and feel top of the line. Even when you pump out the graphics to the max setting, you don't feel any jittery. Asphalt 9 still runs only at 60 FPS, but when you play COD Mobile, it can go up to 120. So you feel the smooth refresh rate, and you feel the performance, and it really feels good. But if you're a gamer and you want the epic best performance out there, you can have a look at the gaming phones like the ROG phone or the Lenovo Legion phone, or you can just go for the Ultra because it has better RAM, faster RAM, and a bit more space for cooling in the cooling pads. Now, the display, as I said, it goes up to 120 Hz in COD Mobile. So this is an LTPO panel. It switches between 48 to 120 Hz, and you're not always on 120 Hz, which helps save a ton of battery. So when you're on your home screen, you might be at 60, or when you're just scrolling through something, you might be at 90. And so far, I've not felt the change at all because the software does it so smoothly, and it just switches to whichever refresh rate it needs, conserving a lot of battery. This display too, it can do only 1080p, but you probably can't even notice that it's doing 1080p because 1080p and 1440p is quite a minute difference. The Ultra can do 1440p and 120Hz, but it's not a huge difference. Clarity is good and it's good enough for a phone. And Samsung, as we all know, is one of the best display manufacturers along with LG and Sony. And this is no different. It's a great display. You don't feel any jittering or lag when it switches through the refresh rate, and it helps save a ton of battery, as I said. Now, talking about battery, this phone has a 4800 mAh battery, which lasts quite a long time. Comes around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time and lasts me more than one day. It comes around 1.5 days. And this time Samsung has got the 25 watt fast charging. So 25 watt, not a huge number in these days, but we got phones with 120 watt fast charging and dual split batteries. But it's good enough, and it's definitely increased the speed because I can get 0 to 100 in about 100 minutes to 110. 0 to 100, usually that's not recommended to go from 0 to 100. The battery is best kept between 20 to 90, so that range I can get it around. You can get it done easily within 60 to 70 minutes, which is a great time for Samsung batteries because Samsung is not known for fast charging. And since it lasts more than a day for me at least, unless I use quite some battery because of locations or maps or some gaming, then it will drain in a day, but the battery overall is great. Other than that, Samsung has done basic improvements and some good improvements that they do usually in every generation of their S and Note series, their flagships, such as they've got power sharing, decks, wireless Samsung decks, where you can connect your phone to a TV or a smart monitor and use it there, and some extra UI features that Samsung provides. It's One UI 3.1. Again, it might not be the most intuitive UI for everyone, but if you used a Samsung phone before and you've been used to it and you don't mind some change, then there's no problem with One UI 3.1. It's based on Android 11 and it's fine-tuned quite a bit. It looks much more smooth, it looks much more elegant and easy on the eyes. So One UI 3.1 is good for me. Being a Samsung user, I have no problems with it. But other than that, it's great. The haptics of this phone, a special thing to mention. Haptics is basically the vibration motor and the responsiveness of the phone. Vibration motor is great, short, precise vibrations, and it feels like a good feedback. Where there are some phones that don't have such good vibration motors, which is sometimes ignored and not noticed by people. But for me, when there's a good vibration motor, it's really appreciated. It just feels great and feels good to use the phone because there's some feedback coming when you do something and it feels more natural somehow. Even while gaming, there are some games that use the vibration motor to tell you that something's going on in the game, and I've played some games such as like that. This is Mech Arena, where if you get a shot, the vibration motor starts vibrating. So those are all pretty great, and the vibrations are short, precise and neat. And there are a lot of small features that if I keep talking about, it's going to be too long. And overall, this is a great phone. This phone checks all the fundamental boxes for a good flagship. Has a good camera, yes. Has a good display, yes. Has good design, probably the best, and many more like that. Good battery, etc. So overall, a good phone. Good job by Samsung. May not be the best, but definitely among the best. So that's been it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more such tech content. I have the review of the Galaxy Watch Active 2 coming up, so do subscribe and hit the notification bell for that, and don't miss out on any more tech videos. With that being said, my name is Ravi Naman. This is Our Tech. Thank you for watching.